Let's get this kicked off. So for those of you joining for the first time, this is our Ask Us Anything, where we give you some quick updates about what's going on in the Syncro world, and then spend a bunch of time answering all of your questions. Today, Bobby from the product team is joining to talk about some exciting stuff that we're releasing soon and give you a tour of that and answer all kinds of questions. And he did a lot of the work on it, so we wanted to have him give you a tour. But thanks for joining, everybody. We are going to go through a couple of topics that are just quick updates, and then we will have Q&A for the remainder of the hour. And so without further ado, Bobby, do you want to talk about ticket tags?
Yeah. Hey, well, thanks for inviting me on, and let's get into the ticket tag updates. All right, so I believe everyone can see my screen now.
Yep.
Cool. So we are adding a feature update to the ticketing module called ticket tags, and you can see them represented here on my screen in this column on the ticket index. But before I get too far, I want to kind of talk about what they are as a concept. Ticket tags are if you think about them as an additional kind of like high-level filter. In Syncro, traditionally before ticket tags, a lot of people had created their ticket views using statuses, and I've seen out there a lot of people have created a ton of different types of custom statuses to try and manage what people can see kind of on the ticket index table directly, to creating kind of custom flows so that different types of workflows could fit within Syncro. And what we're aiming to do with ticket tags is to kind of evolve your ability to create custom ticket views, so that if you have different groups of people that are doing different things within Syncro, but all use the ticketing module, you don't need 50 ticket statuses for escalations. You don't need to necessarily rely completely on ticket custom fields. Is another common way that I've seen people try to create some custom views and to use them as filtering. So we modeled the tag system off of some fairly common methodologies of how tags are used across our industry as ways to again high-level filter your tags. So the way they work is there's now a new tag section. I'll start on the new ticket flow here. We've added a tags field where you can click in and you can see a list of all of your tags as well as recently used ones. You can also type to create new ones. So if I wanted to create like a tier 2 tag, I could do that here. You can apply multiple tags to an individual ticket as you see fit. And you can remove these either here during the new ticket setup or anywhere else you see tags. They can be modified, removed, and so on. Jumping over to ticket detail, here in the ticket info section, you see the same thing. We have a tags field where you can type to search for tags, look up all of your tags, your recent ones, that kind of thing. Again, multiple tags can be added. We have also created security groups, or a settings within security groups, excuse me. And I chose the wrong one, excuse me. Called ticket tags create, ticket tags delete, and ticket tags view. We got a little more granular with the ticket tag security permissions, so that if you have users that maybe actually don't need to see tags, but you still want to be able to tag a ticket as like an escalation or a VIP, but the technician working on it doesn't need the tags and you're using it more to manage a like supervisor view or some kind of administration view, you're able to do that. Also, if you don't want people deleting tags, you can remove that ability too, so that they can add tags and see them, but not delete them, so that you can make sure that the filtering system stays in place. And coming back to the ticket index page real quick, we've added quick filters for tagging so that you can choose tags individually or in bulk here. We have also in the ticket views module added a ticket tags search parameters, so you can choose to include or exclude tags that will filter the tickets based on all of the other parameters as well, to only show tickets that either include or exclude your search of tags. So for example, if from all of my tickets here, I just wanted to look at my escalation tickets, I created a view here that is looking for any tickets that are open or not resolved that have the escalation tag on them. And then that can enable me to kind of triage these tickets. And if I so chose, let's say hypothetically, one of these tickets actually was completed, I could remove the escalation tag or add an additional one, and the ticket will actually leave the ticket view and either move off to resolved or move on to somebody else's board if it needed to be billed or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of, again, the idea behind ticket tags is to give you the ability to, from a high level, begin to filter your tickets and enhance your workflows, to manage the views that your technicians can see, but also to just start to save time, making sure people are working on the right things. And you can start to see more accurately kind of, you don't have to rely like on your ticket statuses necessarily and have a bunch of different escalation ticket statuses. You can have all of that and have more advanced ticket flows, essentially.
So Bobby, I've got two flows for you. I want to run through, and I'd like you to show everybody how we'll do it. So let's say that I'm a dispatcher, right? And a ticket comes in from what we'll call a VIP client. I'm like, ooh, I don't want that to go to the tier 1 view. I want to escalate this right to a tier 2 view. So how would I do that? How would I take a ticket and just go ahead and flow that into like the tier 2 view using tags?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you can click in the column here to edit the tag. And if I wanted, you could do this a couple of different ways depending on how you have the ticket view created. You have the ticket view created like the tier 1 view I showed here. Tier 1 support. You could, let's say a ticket here needed to be escalated. You could click to edit the tag, and you could either remove the tag and hit save, and you can see the ticket went away. So depending on how you have the other view set up, looking for particular parameters, you could choose to remove your tier 1 tag, or alternatively, you could create a tier 2 board that's looking for inclusive tags of tier 1 and tier 2, which means it's been escalated, and you could save that and it would move off to that tier 2 board. So again, I could remove the tier 1 tag, hit save. That ticket's no longer showing on the tier 1 board, but let me create a tier 2 really quick.
Yeah, you're already answering my second question, which is cool because this is exactly what I wanted to see. So it's exactly what you're talking about. How do I move it from tier 1 to tier 2 view? And this is exactly what you're doing here. This is great.
Yeah, so, and here's the tier 2 view. I created this kind of on the fly. So obviously you'll probably want to change up the different parameters for the view to fit more into like a tier 2 type environment, or if that's the point where maybe your work starts to split off to specializations, you could do that. And again, there's granularity that you can include here. When you set your tags up, you can have views that include certain tags but exclude others. So if you want to watch for a particular escalation coming out of your tier 2, you could set that up. Another probable common one is if you want to watch for untagged tickets. This might be a good one for a dispatcher to be watching for. They could have a ticket workspace set up just for untagged work. So you're making sure that things don't fall through the cracks, things are appropriately categorized, that kind of thing.
Yeah, this is awesome. And then I'm going to go ahead and ask a question because I know it's coming anyways. I know there's some things behind this, and I know that this is going to enable us to do a lot of things, but I know one of the things folks are going to want to know right away is, hey, can I use this in ticket automations, or is that coming?
We actually already got that question. So
Oh,
we
okay.
anticipated the question, and
I
then it
didn't look
came
at
in
it
as
yet.
literally the first question.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're I believe we're going to be releasing the tag portion of the feature here pretty soon. And we are in the middle of building out the ticket tags into ticket automation. So yes, you will be able to use ticket tags in ticket automation.
Cool.
What about somebody asked about from the desktop agent,
Yeah, the agent contact
the
form.
tray icon?
The ticket tags from the agent contact form, I believe is what they're asking about.
Yeah.
That is something that won't be immediately available with tags being created directly on the contact form, but we are looking at feedback on the areas people want to see ticket tags the most, and we had a guess that that's what people wanted. So it's pretty cool to hear that that's one. So I would expect that to be a fast follow type work based on the other feedback we get.
Cool.
Aaron is elaborating on his use case. He says, can I add an emergency button on the agent contact form that sets an emergency tag? That sounds dangerous, Aaron.
Everybody's going to be pressing that one button.
With ticket automation in tags, there would be you can't add the button, right? I certainly agree. I probably wouldn't add that. Everyone would hit it. But you could, in theory, have like the ticket automation looking for a particular subject, and then that adds a tag to it, or a particular description, or customer, things of that nature. So the ticket automation aspect of this will kind of really open up a lot of automation options for moving your tags into particular ticket views automatically. We are like I said, working on the ticket automation part. We wanted to get the tags out so that people can start to kind of like use them and get kind of the foundation set, so that when the ticket automation part finishes work, people can really just immediately start kind of jumping in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So in case it wasn't clear, this is the groundwork for a lot of other really cool features that will be added on top, such as ticket automations.
Yep.
Bobby, normally we'll save these till the end, but since we're on it, let's just ask them.
Sure.
What about tags being in the API?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So we do have intention to bring ticket tags to the API. That didn't make this iteration, but it is something that we're looking to do as a fast follow piece of work.
Cool. So Bobby's going to be with us to the end. So just so you guys know, you can go ahead and ask your questions now. We'll grab the Q&A at the end, but feel free to queue them up now. And then anything specific for ticket tags, we'll route back to Bobby in the end. But I think we definitely hit the most common ones already for sure. That's super cool, Bobby. Thanks for showing that.
Yeah.
And that's going live. Do we have a date or not yet?
I thought it was the end of today. It's this week.
Maybe today. This week. We'll try to get confirmation before the end of the hour here. Yeah, that's super exciting stuff. Okay. I'm going to talk quick about some updates for our community-driven development track program. For those of you not aware, this is a new program we spun up last month where we open a post in our Facebook community, and you all get to submit 2 of your favorite quality of life feature requests. Now, these are scoped to very small things, but ones that would greatly improve the day-to-day operations of your business. So the post stays open for 24 hours. We do that so we can ensure that all of our partners across the world get a chance to participate. Sucks a little bit for me because I typically stay up for 24 hours, but I do like to engage with all of you and discuss your features back and forth. And also, I kind of like to make sure that we're on the right track, understanding what it is you're asking for. So a lot of times we'll talk use cases and things like that. After that, we typically pick 2 of our favorites and we go off and develop them. And Bobby does a really good job of overseeing the team that works those. We're typically running these submissions every 3 to 4 weeks. And today I am going to show off the first feature that we've released a couple days ago from this program that was from the last cycle that we ran in May. Second here. All right, so basically here, we have ticket worksheets. For folks that don't know, ticket worksheets basically is a way to add a customizable checkbox or custom fields as a form onto tickets. And that basically allows you to have a workflow that you're supposed to follow or your techs are supposed to follow for any given number of things. It ensures that you don't forget, and it forces your technicians to work this flow before they can resolve the ticket. Now, that's sort of like a please remember to do this type system until now. So what we did is we added the ability to add worksheets to tickets through ticket automations. So as a quick example, let's say I've got a hardware intake ticket where I've got a client where their hard drive dies. I send a tech out, they bring the machine back to the office, and we now have to re-image it. There's a bunch of things I want them to do, including logging that they took a hard drive. If we have to bill it out, they need to, put that on the ticket, log the serial number, all that type of stuff. And right now they're sometimes putting it on there, sometimes not. When they don't log the serials, it creates an inventory problem and all these other things. So now we can basically say, well, let's just do this automatically. Let's forcibly add this hardware intake worksheet to the ticket when it matches this specific ticket type here. And if you wanted to, for any reason, you can even add more than one worksheet to a ticket. You can add as many as you want actually as part of this automation. So this is a pretty cool one. I know we've been asked this for a while, so we're excited to roll this one out. This is live as of a couple days ago, so everybody should have it in their instances today. The next 2 I'm going to show you are ones that were winning submissions from the cycle we ran last week. First one, we got asked this a lot. This is a ticket record that we're looking at. And right now we have the ability to merge 2 tickets together. Basically, you'll say, I want to take this ticket. I want to merge it into one of these tickets that are currently open with the same customer. And then we process that using all these basic rules here. Problem is, if I have a customer, say an office of 25 users and the internet goes down, well, that's a problem if all 25 employees decide to open a ticket at the same time. Now I have to go in and delete 24 of those tickets and pick one I want to follow. Even worse, if it happens to be a global outage, which happened to us a couple of times in Las Vegas, now you could have like 50 customers or 100 customers opening 20 tickets apiece. It's not super fun to go in and delete hundreds of tickets when that happens. So we're going to expand this functionality. You'll be able to go into the ticket list, bulk select tickets, and then bulk merge them together using the same logic we use here. You'll just now be able to take multiple tickets, merge them into a single ticket. So that should save folks a ton of time when those specific scenarios crop up. And this is another one that's been coming up a lot. So I'm glad that this got requested in the last cycle. We're looking at our software inventory report here. Idea behind this report is you'll put a customer in and it's going to look at all their endpoints and say, here's every piece of software that's deployed across every endpoint for this specific customer. And we'll let you know how many endpoints have this specific piece of software on it. What it doesn't do, which kind of stinks, is it doesn't tell you what machines have that piece of software. So if I'm like, well, I don't want 7-zip on these machines, I can't actually find what those are. So if there's 100 endpoints of this specific customer, I'm going to have to go to my asset tab, create a saved custom search with this version number with 7-zip, pull that out, and then manually do my remediation of running a script, uninstalling it, whatever I want to do. If I want to do this across a multitude of customers, or I've got like 10 different pieces of software I'm trying to flag, I don't want to go spin up a bunch of saved asset searches. That's kind of a waste of time. So the suggestion was, and it was a great one, we're going to go ahead and take this and make it a hyperlink, and it's going to navigate to the assets and RMM tab, and it's going to specifically just show you these 12 endpoints or these 8 endpoints. So in one click, you can go in, bulk select them, running uninstall script or whatever it is that you need to do against these endpoints. So these will probably be ready in a couple of weeks, Bobby, 3 to 4 weeks, give or take. Yeah. I know these are going to go into active development soon. So yeah, I know we don't like to give out exact time frames, but somewhere around.
We're definitely researching them. They're exciting features to work on. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll be excited to get those ones out the door. Ian, back to you.
Yeah, I have a quick thing. We like to let folks know when we have upcoming events. So we have a webinar on Thursday that we're giving called Supercharge Your Scripting. We're going to have Garrett and Lindsay from our product team answer your questions about scripting. So if you want to sign up for that, it's on the 29th at 2 p.m. Eastern. And I will put the link in the chat. So if anybody wants to attend that, they can do that. And that is all we have for today's topics. So the rest of this is Q&A. I think we have some already piled up, but feel free to ask your questions. If you're coming in from YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn, you can post in the threads there, and they all kind of, we have some software that pulls them into the same place. Or if you're on Zoom, you can put them in the Q&A box, and we will get to them.
So we got a question from Jeremy saying, I could see using multiple contact forms, one titled after hours emergency or something. Then on the form admin side, we could specify a tag that's added to the ticket. Automation could take over from there. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think ultimately on agent contact forms, adding tags to them is cool. Adding a priority for different ones is probably a pretty cool thing. And then as Bobby mentioned, when we add this stuff into ticket automations, I think automation should be able to pretty much pick up and handle the rest of what you're looking to do there. So I think those are good suggestions around. Attila is asking, we're an MSP and provide flat fee services for our clients. This is done via support tickets, and our team logs time spent with each communication added to the ticket. Of course, the more time we spend, the lower our profitability. My question is, how do I determine my profitability, time spent per client during the course of a month? Yeah, that's a good question. One of the things I've wanted to build for a while is basically exactly what you're asking for, a profitability report. I think there's two elements to that. There's profitability by customer, and there's also profitability by your contract, which you may have multiple contracts for customers. I think that's something that we just need to build. We don't have it today. You can do that using reports that we have today. It's just going to be a little bit of a manual affair. You can pull, a ticket time by customer, and then you could funnel that out and basically divide it by what the customer is paying you for fixed fee contracts. That's probably the easiest way to do it today. Again, a little bit of a manual affair, but it could be done. And then Tilla's also got a follow-up question. How can I see how much time my techs have spent helping clients throughout a day for which clients they were servicing? Would be great to ensure they're helping clients instead of doing other things. Okay, so that's going to be another similar answer. There's another report that I think we need for you folks, and it's called the Technician Utilization Report. And that's basically saying my tech clocked in for 40 hours. What are they doing? And it's going to show all the different things that they were doing in the week. I will show you a different report, though, which may actually help with what you're doing. This is relatively new, and it's a pretty cool report. I'm in my junk account now, so I don't know how good this data will look. But you can we'll pull ticket efficiency by technician. Let's just see if this actually works here on this account. Okay, so what this is going to do is this will pull baselines for your company. So these are the different types of tickets that I have in here. You'll obviously have a lot more than this. How many there were, disregard this again, this is junk data. If you're taking 26 weeks on average to solve a ticket, you're getting fired. And it'll show you the total time that you spent. It'll then break that down by technician and show you if they are over or under your company averages. Like here, they're about on par, but if this was like, hey, they're 50% below average, you might have a problem here. They might be underskilled for this type of ticket, or they might be taking on tickets that they're just not really ready to take on, or they might be trying to help out and it's not under their purview typically. Could also be that they're a sucky tech. I mean, that's just a thing that could happen. Basically, this will tell you what they're doing and how they're spending their time within any given period of time. So you can obviously just say yesterday or this week or this month or whatever cadence you want to run this on. And if there's specific technicians or specific ticket types that you want to filter out, you can go ahead and just filter those in, or just say, I have Bobby in here. I only want to see Bobby's tickets because Bobby's doing a super good job. I want to see what he's doing. Compare Bobby to everybody else. That's the kind of things you can do with this. And then we also have the exact same report that you can break down for your customers. So it'll say, these customers are the ones that are the most or least efficient. You can kind of see where you're burning time, especially if the majority of your customers are fixed fee contracts. This is a great way to determine where the bulk of your time is getting burned. Or on the flip side, who's your real VIP customers, because you're spending a lot less time trying to get you the same information.
Got a question here from Harvey about grouping customers. So Harvey wants to group customers by whether they have like on-premise servers or a data center, or also it seems like a couple other things. So one thing you can do is if you go to the customers index page, you can create a saved search and you actually can access asset custom fields here. So if you want to see like customers that have an asset with that, I don't know, like I have a custom field, laptop or workstation, and you can say is server. So, you can do that kind of thing, and then it'll show you only the customers that have servers. And then you can actually pull these saved customer searches into Mailer and send out emails based on that. So that is definitely one way to do that. And there's all kinds of other custom fields in here, of course.
And hey, Harvey, by the way, I know I was in some sales calls with Harvey recently as a new customer. Good to see you in here, bud. On your second part of your question, Harvey, you're asking, how do we manage alerts for servers versus end user devices? Seems like you either get all alerts or no alerts. No way to just have your engineers get server alerts. There actually is a way to do that. This is our automated remediation module. Now, when you create alerts, they're created from your policies. So if you don't want workstations to fire alerts for something like low hard drive space, or if they go offline, just don't add those alerts to that specific policy, and then make sure that they're enabled on your server policies. The other thing you can do is you can have all the alerts flowing in, and automated remediation can filter them out for you. So for an example here, if the alert body is, let's say you have a critical server down, you can put whatever you want here. These can be custom, or these can be ones that the system generates for you. You can go in here and you can say, okay, I want to post it to Slack, or I wanted to email one of the technicians. You can even send an SMS to the customer letting them know that you're on this, and that this is something you all are working toward. And if it's something else, like if alert body is workstation, whatever, you can even just say, okay, well, these I don't care about, so I'm just going to clear the alert. Or maybe you want to make a ticket from this, clear the alert, and have somebody triage it differently. You can add a low priority to the ticket, something like that. This is typically how I would handle alerts in the system. And again, it really starts with your policies, trying to filter out what's going to create an alert. And then once it's created, this is your way to filter out how you want to handle and triage those alerts.
And you might want to show him if he could add a condition to this, and there's OS type is and the asset OS type right there, and he can just say all your servers or all workstations or specific operating systems, whatever it might be. So if he wanted to have it create alerts for everything, but then automatically clear the alerts for workstations, he could do that, for example.
Yeah, if you even want to have like a very specific thing for like a very specific customer, you can even say if the customer is customer XYZ, and it's only going to apply to their stuff. So you can, this is really, really flexible. So you should be able to do just about anything that you want. And then Harvey's got a third question. Internal reports and executive reports are great, but it'd be nice to click on the charts to drill down. For example, 3 missing MAV, and click and learn which ones. So Harvey, I think I know what you're talking about. I think that's a good suggestion. On the exec summary report, it's not there by design because that's intended as a PDF to go to your customer and show them informational bits. But I do agree that'd be a great add on the internal report builder. So I'm going to make a note of that one, and we'll see.
And just for that specific use case, there's a separate report for missing AV. So just for that particular thing.
Yeah, and then also, Harvey, you could even audit if you wanted outside of reports. You could pull up in the saved asset searches. There's a thing where you can say missing, depending on what you're using. If I recall, I think you're using Bitdefender. And you can say, hey, any endpoints that are missing Bitdefender belonging to XYZ customers, you could pull up a list that way as well. Let's see. Jason says, just signed up with you guys and actually asked about tags last night by setting up ticket issues. Super pumped for tags. Well, that's awesome to hear, Jason. We're super pumped for tags too, bud. Let's see. Pete's asking, on ticket automations, are ticket triggers in... Okay, I'm going to reword this. I think what you're asking, and let me know if I'm wrong, Pete, you're really looking for a second type of automation. I would call triggers like workflows, which would basically be real time, like status change to X, immediately go off and do this. automations being more time-based, where it's like after 24 hours of no response, go ahead and send my customer a reminder that they haven't responded to this ticket and the ball's kind of in their court. Bobby, I think this is probably a good one for you. Is there anything you want to leak there? I'll take ownership of it if nobody's going to get in trouble here.
Yeah. So we are currently working on adding triggers to the ticket automation system. And the first trigger we are introducing is ticket created. So you will be able to create events like you described, Andy, based on right when the ticket is created. And in conjunction with other existing conditions and with ticket tags, you'll be able to actually do quite a bit in so far as automating getting a tech correctly assigned and adding the right tags to make sure it's on the correct view, and all sorts of really cool things. All of the I shouldn't say all. I believe most of the conditions that are available currently are available for ticket trigger, the new ticket trigger as well, but we'll have a lot more to say about that soon.
Super cool. Yeah, I want to see the trigger thing too, Pete. I like that idea. Aaron is actually really excited for the clickable software links on the software inventory report, because he's been looking at that for a while. So you and me too, bud. So glad that one's going to help you out. Let's see. We have an anonymous user saying, I want to monitor my employees as they are all working remotely for the company. Does Syncro offer an option to stay connected to a laptop without letting the person know? I want to have the ability to monitor a PC 8 to 5 without letting the person know about it. And I don't want this to be the default option, as I'm not going to do it on a regular basis. Technically, yes. We use Splashtop as our native remote access tool. With that, there is no option. You'll have to pop up something, so there's no way to monitor in the way you're talking about. However, in our backgrounding tools, we have a backup remote access tool called Syncro Live, and that one can be triggered to not throw an alert when you remotely connect to a machine. So if you did want to see what's going on in a machine without letting the end user know, you could use that and do that through Syncro Live. And that's a policy setting. So you'll just want to make sure that you don't have them set up to basically approve it. If they approve it, it's going to pop something up and ask them. If you don't, you'll be able to get on without issue. Pete's saying, I'm not sure I'm the only one asking, but ACH status. I assume you're talking about Stripe ACH, and if so, that work was shelved. We are potentially looking at other alternatives there, but with Stripe ACH specifically, that work is not progressing. We do currently support, Stripe is still supported for credit cards, just not for ACH. And then we do also integrate with WorldPay, which will handle both credit cards and ACH as well.
We're looking into alternative solutions for that. That would be better.
Richard's asking for inbound email parser. We receive a lot of emails to company@syncroemail.com instead of support@domain.com. So therefore, a lot of leads. Can we add a function from leads to add a note to an existing ticket? I'm not totally following you here, Richard. It sounds like you might have more than one ingestion email when you might only want everything flowing through one. If you want to ask a follow-up, or Bobby, do you follow what I just asked there?
Couldn't they add the domain name to that customer, and wouldn't that solve that? Isn't that why we added domain names to the customer
but the way
object?
they're asking it, I'm not sure if they're just saying they have like 2 ingestion emails, or it's like a specific.
Oh, the way I read that is they're doing co-managed IT with the company, and so there's like a support at whatever the company domain name is.
Okay, let's assume that's the flow, Richard. That you can do. It is somewheres.
I think it's in the custom field section.
You can add multiple email domains here. So basically anything that gets opened under a domain that's not set to their primary domain would also attach a ticket to them. But ask another question. Let me know that's not specifically what you're talking about there.
Yeah, so what that, oh, go ahead, Bobby.
I was just going to say, at the end, they mentioned adding a note to the ticket. Perhaps, just thinking out loud here, the ticket trigger, if those inbound emails from that particular address have consistent subjects or some sort of consistent identification, perhaps some future work, I'm being careful with my words here, might help you create a ticket automation using a trigger that looks for something very specific and applies that as a private or public note to a ticket that's created.
Bobby, I got one for you on ticket tags. Jimmy's asking, is there any organizations such as Alphabetical? I already love this question. With how ticket tags are displayed, such as the list that you choose from and what is shown in various areas?
Yeah, it's a good question. And hey, Jimmy, hope you're well. So let me get my screen shared here again. On the index, the quick filter displays in alphabetical order. I didn't want Andy to fly to Washington to hunt me down. But also when you're looking at editing tags, the most recent or recent tag section in its entirety is not alphabetical because the most recently used will be at the top. However, the all tags is listed alphabetically. We are respecting the order in which the tags are applied here in the column view, and that's true of when you add them in the new ticket flow, as well as on the ticket detail. But that's kind of the way that we're showing tags right now.
Cool. Jimmy's got a second part to that question. What happens with wrapping when several tags get added? I like seeing a compact view of the ticket page, but this sometimes changes with elements wrapping.
Yeah, so the first, I'll say the ticket table has some legacy, I'll call it legacy formatting that we're still working on. The tags do wrap after, I believe it's, I want to say 5 or 6 tags. The cap for tags is, I believe it's north of a dozen if you really want to get crazy with it, although I don't recommend doing that. So in the event it does wrap, I believe it's after like 5 or 6, and it would add additional row to the ticket row currently. We do have some truncation that happens after that point where it'll show like a plus symbol and it'll say more, and you can click on the more and it'll show you the additional tags. But there is some slight wrapping until we're able to get through some of the way the table was done. Some of the legacy things in that table, that's going to remain true for the time being.
Richard's asking a follow-up. He says, I only has one ingestion email, just some people are using the wrong email address. So it is what Ian was talking about. Yeah, so like, as an example, somebody's using their work address, then they go home and email you from their Gmail account. We can't specifically do it with that one, but you can actually add like alternate emails also. So on the contact record, we have an ability to add individual emails. So if it's like Gmail or Outlook.com, something like that, we can capture that. If they've got like a second domain for the company, that's at the customer level, and we can capture that too.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you add their domain and they email you from an unknown email address, it creates a contact for that, right?
I think if you've got it set up in the email box, I know you can also shut it down. If you only want to take emails from known contacts, you can do that too.
Yeah.
Harvey's asking, we're configured to get push notifications when alerts are created. This means we're getting overwhelmed with alerts because our alerts are part of scripts to cause automated remediation. For example, policy-based daily nav scans that are configured for all computers, that's a whole lot of alerts. Yeah, so Harvey, this really just comes down to exactly what we were talking about before. So instead of using the notification center to text you every single alert you get, I would recommend turning that off, using automated remediation actions to send you those SMSs. That way, you're in full control over what you get and what you don't. And you could even have a specific automation, or excuse me, remediation, send things to a specific technician instead of all your technicians getting them. So it really just comes down to scoping who needs to get what and why. And the more globally you have that, the more noise you're going to get. So I would definitely spend the time scoping that down. Let's see.
Rick says, can Syncro have a field that lets us know that the workstation is active when we are looking to take control? I mean, that's kind of what that screenshot's for.
Yeah, I think he's really talking like Windows will report if a machine is like inactive, where it's kind of like the same thing that monitors when a monitor would shut off, like it's been inactive for 15 minutes. So that one is, we need to do some updates to our presence monitoring before we would be able to do that. But as a quick workaround, Richard, if you use Syncro Live that we were just talking about, if you have it set up where it's not going to ping the end user that you're logging on, if you needed to, it's one click away. You could just click that and actually monitor and see that they're sitting at the desktop, nobody's using it.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Aaron's saying, I think it's not possible, but if we used an automated remediation and one of the steps is clear alert, is there any way to see that this remediation ran? Is it logged on the asset anywhere in a report? The remediation running, I don't believe is logged, but the alert being cleared would be logged. And if you use the asset activity audit, you should be able to filter for any alerts coming into the system. So I think that's probably going to be your answer. I would use that report to see what's going on there. We got a customer asking, systems which are not getting patched or failed patches, can we get tickets created as per assets for the same so techs can work them? So machines not getting patched, failed patches, I think that's a good suggestion. A lot of times though, when a patch fails, it's because Windows allowed a patch through that shouldn't be for that specific machine. It's going to continue to fail. So you might need to block it for that specific endpoint or policy, or install something else to make sure that that processes successfully. The second part about creating tickets for endpoints that aren't up to date, I think that is going to be dependent on how you have it set up. As an example, you might be patching once a week, so the fact that an endpoint is missing a patch might not be bad. Now, if it hasn't patched those endpoints in 2 weeks, that might be bad depending on how you have it set up. So I think I would probably right now rely on the missing patches by KB report or the vulnerable systems report, and that's going to show you what's missing and where. But my email is andy@syncromsp.com. If you have an interesting way where you would like to see us like throwing alerts and things that aren't really going to conflict with the normal flow of it's missing an endpoint, but it's only, or missing a patch, but just because it's Monday and I'm patching it on Tuesday kind of thing, let me know what you think on that, because I think there might be something there for sure.
Maybe like patch pending for more than X days.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. Any individual patch pending, that'd be a way to do it.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you have it set up to run patches, like you said, once a week or whatever, you're going to want to maybe set that for 14 days so that it has a chance to go through 2 cycles of it or something in case it fails.
Yeah, that's a good idea to add to the policy, actually, because then you could have it custom to the policy. So if this policy is every 7 days, this one's 14, you could set it right in the policy how long you want to work.
Yeah, it's just then we're going to have to like figure out when it should have installed. Like it's almost like a timer. You have to do a diff on the timestamps. So we have to figure out what the first timestamp actually is. Is it when the patch was released, or is it when it last tried to install it? There's like a little bit of like devil in the details there.
Yeah, it would be a little bit problematic too if the endpoint was just offline when it wanted to patch. You know,
right. When it comes back on, you're just going to immediately get an alert, even though it never even tried to patch.
Right. Yeah, but that would be cool. Let us know if you have some ideas there, because I do think maybe there's something we could do there to help improve that. Let's see. Speaking of ordering, any chance ticket views could be ordered, hopefully alphabetical? Bobby, what the hell?
Wow, goodness. I'm going to have to go into hiding. Yeah, Pete, we have a big piece of work we're working on, in particular on ticket view management, that people have been asking for. And I won't spoil the whole story here, but yeah, you could absolutely put something into alphabetical, that views list into alphabetical order among other things. But yeah, that's definitely something we're working on.
Cool. I'll be excited for that. Richard's saying, can you show me where to add the domain for a customer so that replies to a ticket get added as a note to the ticket instead of generating a lead? Yeah. I thought I showed that, but I'll show you the other thing first since I have it up. If it's an actual email address, not necessarily a second domain, I'm on a contact record now, you can add it here, and you can actually have multiple. So if they've got like multiple personal addresses, you can add them here. It will all automatically open a ticket and then attach the contact to the ticket. If you're talking about like globally on the domain, if you edit the actual customer record, go into custom fields, and then it's these email domains here, and it'll tell you how to do this. So that's where you're going to do that, Richard.
We got a question here from YouTube. What is the best, from Joe, what is the best way to put labels such as hourly customer, VoIP customer, it's project, whatever, where the text can easily identify that info without leaving the ticket? So here's what I would do in that case. We have custom fields that you can apply to the customer, right? And so I would go and add a custom field for like customer type or whatever that might be. When they're on the ticket, if they want to check that, they can go and see under here customer info. They can click this more info without leaving the ticket, and it shows the custom fields here. So, we actually have this in our demo account, clients type. So you could have a client type and it would show it here. They just look at that and then they know what to do. So that's how I would do it.
Bobby, do you have a better way that we might be able to do that?
This is a setup. No. Yeah. Wow. Third spoiler for the day. We are working on customer tags to help solve that specific thing to make this sort of flow much easier. That is something we're working on.
I asked Bobby, so it's all on me. Good to go. Keith is asking, is there a roadmap or plan for the mobile app? I asked because I've had issues with it for some time, which makes it unusable. Keith, I think I'd say two things there. If there's anything making it physically unusable for you, like I know there's a Face ID, I don't know what the hell, I can't think of that term, but whatever that's called. There's a bug with that right now. I know they're working through. So if it's like a bug type thing, send that into support so we can fix those. If it's like an overarching, are you going to redo the whole mobile app? As of right now, the answer is no. It's work we'd like to do at some point. We're looking at other things as a higher priority right now, though, to be honest with you.
Question here from Martin. Is there any update on the Azure AD Sync beta testing? I believe, Martin, that you already sent me an email. I'm just not ready yet for folks to do the testing, but it should in the next week probably be ready. So you may be hearing from me in the next week if you want to test out the Azure AD Sync integration.
Atil is asking, we have an MSP client asking us to provide them a report with a breakdown of the types of tickets we have processed over the past month and how much time we spent on them. Yeah, I would look at I believe it's the ticket time by customer report. So that will show a breakdown of what tickets were opened by customer, what type, the amount of time spent. I'd also check out the executive summary report. It's not going to be exactly what you're looking for there, but there is a bunch of different ticket metrics that you could report on there. But I think the first report I mentioned there is probably going to get you the closest to what you're looking for, Attila.
I got another one here. I got two. Can we create a saved search for a particular service? I'm trying to track Threat Locker. Yes. So if you go to the assets index page, you can make a saved search here, and you can say installed application, or sorry, installed application here. So you could say like Threat Locker. This isn't going to be the best example because I don't have Threat Locker on these machines, but it would then look through all the installed applications and look for anything that matches this, and you would see the assets that do have that. You can also do missing application if you want to install something. The second question I had here is someone was asking basically if there's a way to have their techs know about commonly about features that people don't often know about in Syncro. There's not really a great venue for that at the moment. However, we were actually just talking internally about doing like a feature of the week in the communities where we highlight some kind of feature and then encourage folks in the community to talk about how they're using the feature. and what value they're getting out of it. And hopefully every time someone sees it, it's like, we're actually not using that. And here's all the ways that other people are using it, and they can learn from that. So if that would be helpful, then let me know. We've been talking about spinning that up.
Yvonne's saying executive reports should contain Windows Update. We want to send executive reports to clients which show all their endpoints, not just one. So Yvonne, we do have that. Here's 2 blocks as an example from this is like how many machines that you're managing. Usually this is going to be 100. And then there's all these different metrics that you can put on here: average number of installed, average patches that are available, how many were detected. All of this is also available here. And then if you ever wanted to send a specific list, I don't know why a lot of people don't know this, but we do have this. If you want to send specific lists of things as part of your exec summary report, we have this list summary section. And we have a couple different ones. We have ones for tickets, contacts, and endpoints. And you can go in and grab whatever one of these that you want. Like if they're like, hey, you're billing me for 10 endpoints a month, I want to know what ones they are because we're switching endpoints. You can even filter this or add whatever columns you want here, sort it by however you want, limit it to a certain amount of endpoints. So all of this is available in the exec summary and the internal summary report builders today. So you should be able to get what you want there.
Got one here from Chad. Thanks for the SaaS alerts integration, whatever level your role was. Seeing the beta release was welcome for their Unify functionality. Yeah, I've been talking to them, and I think I finally answered all their questions that they had about the API.
Ian, you're muted.
Oh, right. I accidentally clicked spacebar. Yeah, hopefully I gave them what they needed for the integration. I think they wanted even more stuff that wasn't in our API. So hopefully they have enough.
Richard's asking a follow-up again. Richard, I think what I'm going to ask this point is just shoot me an email at andy@syncromsp.com, because I think I might not be totally understanding what you're asking. It sounds now that you're asking if somebody's sending an email address to a different email and they think they're sending it to your support alias, but they're not. Therefore, it's creating a lot of leads. That's not possible. That's what I was asking before. If you have more than one ingestion address, meaning if you go to the email boxes in your admin settings, the only way that can happen is if you have another one. Otherwise, there's no way for us to create leads. So I would just remove that box and force them to send it to the ingestion box for your support tickets. So if I'm misunderstanding, just shoot me an email, because I feel like I'm not answering your questions and I feel kind of bad. So just shoot me an email. Zachary's asking, and Bobby, you might know this better than I do. Is there a way for scheduled appointments to show on all our techs' calendars I do know this one, rather than only the owners? We have the ability to add additional attendees, but this only sends email reminders and does not automatically populate all calendars. Bobby, check me on this, but basically in the Syncro calendar, you can see everybody's appointments, but by design, you don't really want that on, like you're syncing to your Outlook calendar, because it's going to block your time for things you want other things going on. So in Syncro, yes, in terms of syncing it to your Outlook calendar, seeing other people's appointments there, it would be no. Did I lie, Bobby, at all?
No, you didn't lie. I'll just add that there is an alternate view on the appointments tab that I believe does show when somebody is listed as an additional attendee in that view. So it wouldn't just show the appointment owner, and you don't have to hover over that to see the additional attendees. Each attendee would have in that alternate view on the calendar tab. It should list, if I'm recalling correctly, for each person.
Yeah.
You're saying this toggle view?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If
I
somebody is listed
only have one appointment here, but
yeah, if somebody is listed as an additional attendee on an appointment there, I believe it also fills the slot for them in this particular view. But Andy, what you said is correct in the default standard view.
All right. Harvey's asking, an employee sends a ticket to the help desk and includes 5 other employees. I'm going to assume, Harvey, you mean as a CC. When each of these employees responds to the original email or replies, additional tickets get opened. Can we mute this? That shouldn't be happening, Harvey. If they respond to the email, it should be getting added as a comment on the actual ticket. So it sounds like they might be like deleting some component of the ticket, like changing the subject line or something and sending it back in again when we're not properly linking that that response to the open ticket already. If you think that's not happening, I'd have them open a ticket with, I'd have you rather open a ticket with support, because that's definitely not the intended behavior.
Yeah. I'll add to something that I often see people missing is if you do get a lead that's forwarded in from another ingestion email, but there's already maybe a ticket created, there is a tab in the leads detail that enables you to merge a lead into an already created ticket. So perhaps maybe that'll help solve some of the situation you're in as well.
Got one here from Attila. Did I hear you incorrectly that there's a Unify integration coming via the Syncro API? You did hear correctly, but different Unify. SAS alerts, and I will copy and paste their link in both. They are creating an integration. I don't think it has anything to do with Ubiquity. I think it's a Y, not an I for Unify. But as a person who has a bunch of Ubiquity gear in my house, that would be cool if it did exist.
Jason's asking, I'm new to Syncro. When filling out a new ticket in the check-in portal, it asks for the issue type, but in the customer portal, it doesn't ask for the issue type. Is there a setting to turn on and off for that option? There is not. There probably should be. Bobby, that's a really good suggestion.
Yeah, I'm writing that one down.
Yeah, but I mean, I agree. And actually, that'd be another good one to have like in the agent contact form too, so folks can set it. And then also that would make it really easy when it comes into ticket automations, when we add that to have ticket tags automatically applied. So I think that's a super good suggestion. Joseph's asking, occasionally 2 technicians may work on a single ticket, but it can only be assigned to one. What is the best way to identify which tech is actually responding within the client's email reply? I would just have them add their name to it. I mean, we could add, I don't think we have signatures today, right, Bobby? I think that's something we want to add at some point down the road.
Correct.
Yeah, so we can look at that somewhere in the future, but yeah, for right now, it would just be, you know, adding their name if they need specifically to know who's responding to them for some reason. And actually, so I've got, okay, so Brandy's in the background here, shoot me a note. Yes, it is coming out today. She didn't give me any context, so I didn't know she was on this watching it, but yeah, she's like, oh no, we're talking about ticket tags, that is coming out today. So very cool, thank you, Brandy. That helps. What else do we got?
Got one here on YouTube. Is there a way to set up reminders or alerts for tickets that might be created today but worked on later? For example, a client asks to check something on their computer after hours. Bobby, one of the things I was thinking about there is like, maybe you could create a reminder from a ticket automation. Do we already have that?
We do in a light version of it, yeah. So what a lot of folks will do is they'll set up like a status that's like, remind me in 8 hours or whatever, and then they'll have the ticket automation pick it up and it will remind them in that amount of hours that it's been there. It's not always going to be 8 hours on the dot, but it'll be pretty close.
Yeah.
So that's one way to do it. But it would be pretty cool if there was a way to do internal reminders as like a single click without going that route.
Yeah, I mean, we have the reminder object, so it would just be a matter of like having the action create reminder with a note.
All right, I think we'll do 1 or 2 more questions. We do have more than we're going to get to this time. Let's see. Attila's saying other ticket systems solve the bulk ticket problem by creating an incident, matching all the related tickets to the incident, bulk closing, sending a script to those clients. Thank you for being aware of the problem. Yeah, that's more of like an ITIL thing, but yeah, I agree. That's another way to do it. I think for right now, there's a lot of things I think both Bobby and I would like to improve in merging of tickets. I think right now the main ask is how do we just merge these 25 tickets that we have? That's the initial thing we want to attack, and I think we'll update that down the road as well with some more stuff. Let's see. Is there any way to manage remote mobile devices? Well, manage, no. I think what you're looking for is more of an MDM. That's not something I think we would probably ever have natively. Probably be looking at something like
Domots.
Mozilla, Jamf, yeah, Adigy, something like that, to manage those devices. Normally it's like a profile type thing. You really can't install things outside of that on iOS specifically in a way where you could realistically manage it. So it's done with MDM and profile. So not really. Is there anything else you want to take in before we call it?
Oh, there's too many.
I'll grab one from Harvey. I know Harvey's new, so I'll grab his question here. We're accumulating too many email rules. I think we're approaching 100 rules. We use these rules to receive email tickets and assign them to dedicated text. It would be nice to be able to sort the rules by the headers. If John is away for vacation, we need to sort the rules and edit his rules to assign the tickets to the tech who is covering for him. How can we do this? I don't think there's going to be a super easy way right now, unless you can think of one, Bobby. I do think once we have more of the real-time ticket automations, this would become a lot easier. But do you have any workarounds for how we might do that, Bobby?
Right now with that number, no, but I left myself a note just now to look into adding sorting to that header, to all the headers on that page. But yeah, my recommendation would be to, once all the automation updates are coming out, to try and leverage that to achieve what you're doing there.
I have a workaround in the meantime. Control F. It's not the best workaround, but it is there.
And for Mac users, Ian?
Apple F.
Okay, great. All right.
I have both. I'm platform agnostic.
I'm not, that's why I asked. All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for participating again. I think now we have confirmation that probably within the next few hours, you'll all be able to play with ticket tags. The feature I showed off earlier is live now, the adding ticket worksheets, ticket automations. Other two quality of life features are going to be hopefully coming out over the next few weeks. And as Bobby said, and he's the one who's getting in trouble for it because he said it, whole bunch of cool things we've got in the works around tickets and automations and tags and things. So we're really excited to get that stuff out the door. So thanks for attending. Thanks for the questions, everybody. And we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for being here too, Bobby.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.